Sometimes the most life-changing moments arrive in the quietest, most unexpected ways. And sometimes it takes crossing paths with a stranger to remind us of what really matters: kindness, courage, and the families we build even when life gets hard. This story begins with a billionaire mother who believed she had everything under control until a single dad and his little boy walked into a small-town diner and turned her world upside down. If you're new to StorySphere, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps bring more heart-touching stories to life. Linda Prescott had spent her whole life building an empire. Elegant, confident, and always in control, she believed money could solve nearly everything. But when it came to her daughter, Emma, she felt helpless. Emma was 25, bright, kind, and full of quiet dreams, but after a painful breakup the year before, she barely went out. Linda wanted her daughter to feel loved and hopeful again, so she arranged a blind date at a warm little diner just outside the city. She kept it simple: just coffee, conversation, and a gentle nudge toward new beginnings. Emma wasn't thrilled, but she agreed to humor her mom. Linda insisted on dropping her off, wanting to see the young man from a distance, just to make sure he seemed respectful and safe. But when they arrived, the original date had already canceled. Emma sighed, embarrassed. Linda apologized over and over, feeling like she'd failed her daughter again. "Let's just grab something and head home," Emma whispered gently. Before they could leave, the diner door opened, and in walked a man, early 30s, tall, with tired eyes and a boy of about 6 holding his hand. The dad looked flustered, like someone carrying the weight of the world. He apologized to the staff, explaining he was late for an interview being held in the diner's back corner. His sitter had canceled last minute, so he'd had no choice but to bring his son along. Linda watched the moment with unusual stillness. Something in the father's voice, humble, soft-spoken, but determined, pulled at her. The little boy clung to him with such trust, such innocence, that Emma couldn't help but smile. And when the dad dropped his papers on the floor, Emma instinctively bent down to help him. Their eyes met. A soft, genuine moment. Nothing forced, nothing planned. His name was Noah. His son was Liam. And they were having a very, very hard week. Noah lost his job 2 months ago. He was doing everything he could to provide for his son, working nights, applying everywhere, rarely sleeping. Liam sat quietly while his dad interviewed, coloring on a napkin with a dull pencil. Linda watched the boy share his tiny bag of snacks with a stranger's toddler at the next table. No hesitation, just pure kindness. When the interviewer abruptly cut things short, saying they weren't looking for someone with childcare complications, Noah nodded politely, even though his eyes fell with disappointment. He thanked them anyway. He held Liam's hand, ready to leave with dignity despite the rejection. Emma saw it too, something fragile and unfair in the way life had treated him. Before she could think, she stood and walked toward them. "Hey," she said softly. "You dropped this earlier." But what she really offered was something else: kindness, connection, and a moment of understanding. Noah apologized for the chaos, but Emma shook her head. "You're doing your best. That's enough." Liam smiled shyly, leaning against his dad's leg. The three of them talked for a minute, and Linda noticed something rare in her daughter's face: light, hope, warmth she hadn't seen for months. Then Linda did something she had never done before. She stepped out of her comfort zone. She walked over to Noah, introduced herself, and offered him a job interview. Not at the diner, but at one of her companies. She had seen enough in 5 minutes to know he was a man of character, a good father, someone who didn't give up when life got messy. Noah's eyes widened. He couldn't believe it. And when Liam whispered, "Daddy, is she an angel?" Linda felt her heart soften in a way she hadn't expected. Over the next weeks, everything changed. Noah got the job. Liam became like a little brother to Emma. And Emma and Noah's connection grew from kindness to companionship, then to something deeper, slow, natural, and real. Linda often thought back to that canceled blind date. She had tried so hard to plan her daughter's future, but life had a better plan, one rooted not in wealth, but in compassion. And that day at the diner reminded her of something she'd forgotten. Sometimes the greatest blessings come from simply noticing people, caring for them, and choosing kindness when you could choose anything else. In the end, it wasn't money that changed their lives. It was a moment of empathy, a shared smile, a helping hand. A single dad doing his best, and a billionaire mother willing to open her heart. May this story inspire you to look around, offer kindness freely, and believe that even small acts can change someone's entire world.